is Steve Young, Carson Shaffer. Carson has just spent 6, let's just say interesting, days at the Orlando Veterans Administration Medical Center in Lake Nona, where he had some fairly major surgery. He is very glad to be back amongst his Toastmaster friends in the world of the living. So, please give a warm Winter Park Toastmasters welcome to Carson and his speech. What a long stretch trip it's been.
Please welcome. It was like an inner city VA with like flickering lights, people strapped on the chairs, a living hell. I was trapped. My fellow Toastmasters, guests, members of the head table, Ivan, Lisa, Dostoevsky. You want to get along at a hospital? Learn their names and pronounce them right, just like in here. So Carnegie said that your name is the most beautiful sound that you know. Learn to pronounce the names correctly and make sure you know the medical staff and you greet them by name. It's wow, you wouldn't believe the difference in the quality of care that you get. For example, I needed the nurse after my surgery, and I'm hitting the call button, and there's no nurse, and I can see the call button outside, and it's not lighting up. And I thought, oh, geez, no, my wife Cindy's a nurse. This is just like Cindy said. Oh, geez, the room's not prepped right. So finally somebody came in, and I said, hey, my call light's not working. I can't believe it. I always thought my wife was kidding about this stuff. But the room's not prepped right. And of course, the nurse goes, oh, yes, we have all these problems. And you're like, really? So this happens a lot? And they're like, well, no, not a lot. But and I go, yeah, I know, this drives my wife crazy. And they're like, yeah. And they leave. Then I had a roommate who was angry. You know, like the angry veteran stereotype? Yeah, little Matt had that. And he was on speakerphone yelling at a long succession of women. Yelling, and they're yelling back. And I had just gotten out of 6 hours on the table, and I couldn't sleep. And finally I came in, and I said, wow, you know, I've heard so many stories about this. This is, you know, I'm sure there's nothing you can do. I know it's crowded. Your census is probably maxed. Let me see what we can do. Sure enough, I got a new room with a new roommate. Now the rooms were really singles, but it's the VA and their budget got cut. So now they have a little curtain that runs down the middle of the rooms. So they have 2 people in a single room. Now, all I can see in this room is the doors over here. I got this curtain that goes all the way across, a whiteboard that's got like the date and you know who your nurses are and you know, all that kind of stuff. And it's all wrong because it's 2 days out of date, just like my life said it was going to be. And out the window, because I had the window side, I had the roof of the VA, and it looked like a roof. Great little lots of steam pipes coming out with a lot of steam coming out of them, and I could see a wall of mirrored windows. You couldn't even see green. So I'm in this room. It's the day after my surgery. I'm finally starting to realize, hey, I'm alive, and I'm starving. And they gave me breakfast, and it was really good. And the doctor surgeon comes in, and he looks at this thing, and he goes, oh, you have an infection. I was like, okay, so what are you going to do? And he goes, well, you need IV antibiotics. I'm like, hey, I'm in the hospital. I got 2 IV ports in my arm. Let's go. And he goes, all right, and they walk in with my lunch. Roast beef, gravy, mashed potatoes. I was like, oh, he goes, and we need to put you on a liquid diet. but it's right. And he goes, if you want, you can eat it. And then I had to go, no, I don't want the roast beef. I want to get out of here. So they put me on a liquid diet. Which, by the way, every meal contained like seriously 200 grams of sugar. They come in and check my glucose, be like, well, it's 275. And you're like, do you know what you're feeding me? It's not normally that high. And you just get weirder and weirder, and like Tasha said, you start bouncing off the walls. It's quite an adventure. You go to the restroom. And they gave me Vicodin. They gave me a lot of Vicodin. Cool thing about being married to a nurse is I know exactly the words I'm supposed to say to get my Vicodin. And I've been a musician my whole life, so I like Vicodin. And they were giving me a shot, like literally 1.5 ounces every 4 hours on a liquid diet. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, which pain? Oh, it's and he would come. So after 3 days of liquid diet and a shot of Vicodin every 4 hours, I start not understanding where I was. And I look around and I see the outside and I see the bed and information that's wrong. And Rodriguez is in the bed next to me. And his family comes to visit and they start talking. And they're from Puerto Rico, so they're all speaking Spanish, which I don't speak. And then the CNAs out in the hallway are speaking Haitian Creole. I don't speak Haitian Creole either. And I started thinking, I'm in one of those VA hospitals you see in the movies, like in Chicago or somewhere horrible, flickering lights, trash on the floor, people strapped down and can't move, and it's just this horrible, horrible place. So I start planning my escape. I can't believe this. They're doing moves. And the floor's rumbling. And so you're rumbling in foreign languages, and I can't see anything. And it was horrible, and I've got to get out of this place, but I can't because I got an IV in both arms. Yeah. And so I plotted, and I figured out what I was going to do. I was going to bolt the minute they turned their backs. So they took out one of the IVs, and I said, this is my chance. So I got my bunny slippers on. I took my cart, which had 3 things. I don't care. Against medical advice. And I go and I open the door and I walk out into this brand new VA hospital, phenomenal quality. I know every person there by name. And I thought, maybe I should stop taking all this Vicodin. That goes down.